I came to Christ through Youth for Christ.
I think of Youth for Christ campus life because I recognize the impact on my life at a very early age.
So I always like to say that Youth for Christ raised me. I wouldn't be who I am today if it wasn't for Fresno Madera Youth for Christ.
And so I've been in ministry for 40 years, but all starting back when I became a Christian in Youth for Christ.
Youth for Christ has been reaching youth with the great news of Jesus Christ in Fresno and Madera counties for over 65 years. Many lives have been transformed right here in the Central Valley through the ministries of YFC.
So many things that used to be stigmas that caused us to have some morality in our society have been removed. Unwed motherhood, there's no stigma. Getting divorced, there's no stigma.
They're not as accountable. Teenage pregnancy is much more acceptable than it was 25 years ago.
I believe now more in the need for ministries like Youth for Christ than I did 23 years ago.
And so when you talk to kids about God, you're starting from scratch. They have no concept about who God is.
Particularly at juvenile hall, I see kids who sitting at the chair in the what then was a closed courtroom whose feet would not touch the floor. Looking back in the small courtroom, nobody's there. Nobody. Not a mom or a dad.
Well, 9 years as a police chief in a major metropolitan city has its challenges. One of the challenges that we see most often is that with gangs. We have over 10,000 validated gang members in our city today, and those gang members generally get indoctrinated into that gang lifestyle when they're teenagers. And those teenage years, when most of these kids are most reachable and most impressionable, are the times that we need to be standing in the gap, reaching them with positive role models versus the negative role models that they see within their neighborhoods.
And without their intervention, without Youth for Christ's involvement with the youth in Fresno, our gang population is only going to continue to increase.
I think things have ramped up almost exponentially in terms of what our kids are having to face now.
There's no stability for a lot of these young girls. So a lot of these girls grow up in a situation where they can't trust any adults. Most of their fathers have left them, and so they have absolutely no father figure.
Well, it's only me and my mom. The rest of my family, they just don't really care. So, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I've been in juvenile hall 7 times. My first time I went to juvenile hall, it wasn't even in Fresno, it was in San Luis Obispo. And it was when I was 14 for Grand Theft Auto.
It's a lot easier to prevent someone from ever joining a gang than it is to rescue someone from a gang.
And so you have a missionary, Youth for Christ staff person enter the picture, and all of a sudden they take that role of somebody who is a caring adult that is investing time and energy into this relationship, and it begins to have a huge impact.
The area that Youth for Christ is in the heart of our city. It's in an area that historically has been known for gang activity. It's been known for criminal activity. And that's why it's so important Youth for Christ remain in that area and have that outreach in one of our most desperate areas of Fresno.
Before I was baptized, I used to like to run around and messing with people or talking about people or getting into a lot of fights, but now I'm trying not to do that anymore because I've changed.
Sin is everywhere, temptation is everywhere, and it's like it's so hard being here at this school because I know so many people that do drugs and they all want me to go do drugs with them.
It's easy, gosh, I mean, when you live and see it every day and when you know what Christ can do in the heart and the life of people, but the answer really lies in teaching those individuals to place their hope in Christ. That's the answer.
Anytime I can have adults on my campus, it's a benefit for our students because our students are looking for some role models
some guidance, and we get that from Youth for Christ. Every Thursday morning they're here and working with our kids.
We get to just love on them, have fun with them, create an environment where they can come and be themselves, where they can feel safe, where they are free to express who they are, all their dirt and grime and the ugliness that goes along with that sometimes.
They have the student-led clubs, which I think are great ideas, and they have lots of them.
I'm so impressed. I mean, Youth for Christ is reaching kids in our neighborhoods, at-risk youth that really don't have anywhere else to go, and they're finding them, they're giving them things to do, they're introducing them to good decisions in life, and you know, I shudder to think what our community would be like without them.
2 years ago, I officially became a Christian at a Campus Life event, and since then, I've just been like learning more about God and like trying to like bring other people to God.
I really am impressed with the work they're doing downtown, just in the office. The office itself has become a ministry site, whereas in the years that I was there, it was the office.
I had a young girl, 15 years old, come up to me. Her two friends pushed her up to me, and it was 2 nights ago I tried to kill myself. I took a bunch of pills out of the medicine cabinet, mixed them together, and took them. For whatever reason, she did open up to me, and we've continued conversing. And I just keep trying to encourage her. We've had kids that actually have come to meet Christ, join a church, get baptized, and become part of the family of God.
I got saved officially February 24th, 2010. Arms up in the air and worshiping. It was a great feeling. I love going to church for that reason, when I feel God's presence with me.
He's been out about 2 months, and he's been going to church, so you know, I see him there, and
it makes me think, you know, like there's something better out there than just the streets, you know, sin, temptation, a lot of that stuff.
So just to see her so just so strong.
The greatest thing about my new life would have to be being okay.
So because it feels like somebody cares about me now, instead of just my mom and my grandma. But somebody cares.
Now more than ever, Youth for Christ plays a key role in mentoring at-risk youth, giving guidance to a parentless generation, or providing a listening ear to young people who are overwhelmed with moral dilemmas. YFC volunteers and staff act as missionaries to the next generation, changing lives today, impacting our cities tomorrow.